An AI system saves a team 10 hours, then quietly sends one wrong price to a client. Nobody celebrates the saved time. The team loses trust in the system. That is the failure most automation demos hide. The strongest small AI business is usually not a fully autonomous agent. It is a visible review queue. AI prepares routine work, uncertainty gets separated, and a human makes the last meaningful decision before anything expensive leaves the building. Businesses do not experience automation as a clever prompt. They experience changed work. If the system hides mistakes, invents details, or gives nobody a place to intervene, every saved minute carries invisible risk. A review queue makes work legible. Each job becomes a card with source material, a proposed output, past checks, and the question that still needs judgment. The goal is not zero humans, it is fewer human decisions. The tempting alternative is a black box. A form arrives, an AI chain runs, and a polished answer shoots to a customer. It looks impressive because the happy path is fast. Real businesses live in the exceptions. A format changes. A field is blank. Two documents disagree. The prompt still produces language. Without a review gate, fluency disguises uncertainty, and the operator discovers the problem after delivery. Picture a small agency preparing weekly client reports. The weak pitch is, our AI writes reports automatically. The stronger service drafts from raw notes, flags missing numbers, links claims to inputs, and queues unusual cases for approval. Now the buyer sees what changed. Writers stop rebuilding the same structure. Reviewers focus where it matters, and nothing is sent because a model sounded confident. The valuable product is controlled throughput, not the appearance of autonomy. A useful queue has 3 lanes. Ready means the draft passed explicit checks. Review means a person must choose or correct something. Blocked means a required input is missing. The lanes turn vague AI anxiety into manageable work. Every card should answer 4 questions. What came in, what the system produced, what evidence supports it, and why a person is seeing it. If the reviewer must reconstruct the job, the automation moved labor instead of removing it. An AI review queue creates decision compression. The machine reads, sorts, compares, and drafts details, then hands the human one small decision with relevant evidence attached. That is a more useful promise than hands-free. Start with one narrow unit, a proposal section, product description, invoice check, or follow-up draft. If you cannot name the input, output, reviewer, and pass condition in one sentence, the workflow is still too broad. Step 1 is observation. Run 20 ordinary cases manually and record where time goes. Do not automate a job title. Automate the repeated transformation inside it, such as turning meeting notes into a structured action list. Step 2 is the rubric. Before writing prompts, define what a passing output must contain, what it must never invent, and when to escalate. A rubric gives the AI and reviewer a shared definition of done. Step 3 is an output contract. Fix the fields, order, tone, evidence links, and allowed actions. Structured outputs are easier to inspect than a paragraph that changes shape every time. Consistency makes review faster and failures visible. Step 4 is the exception path. Decide who receives blocked work, what context travels with it, and what follows a correction. If an exception disappears into chat, you cannot learn from it. Preserve the reason for every intervention. Before the system touches live work, run it in shadow mode. Let AI process the team's inputs while its outputs remain private. Measure disagreement without risking a customer relationship or changing the existing process. Compare the AI draft with the human result, but do not ask only whether they match. Ask which differences matter. A shorter sentence may be harmless. A missing price or wrong recipient is a different failure. Keep an exception log. Missing input, conflicting input, unsupported inference, formatting failure, policy risk, and reviewer preference. The pattern will show whether to improve instructions, add a check, or narrow the service. Narrowing is often the smartest fix. If one document type causes most failures, exclude it until you understand why. Reliable automation is not a contest to accept every case. A clear boundary beats another complicated prompt. Treat model confidence as a routing hint, never proof. A confident sentence can be wrong. Verification should use hard checks where possible. Required fields, valid ranges, matching totals, approved sources, named recipients, and customer rules. Use AI for fuzzy interpretation and ordinary code for hard constraints. Let the model classify or draft. Let rules catch empty values, forbidden actions, impossible dates, and missing evidence. Each component should do the job it can defend. Then design the reviewer experience. Put source beside draft. Highlight changed fields. Explain the failed check in plain language. Make approve, edit, and escalate obvious. A reviewer should not need detective skills to protect the client. Timebox each decision and capture one correction reason. That feedback loop shows which exceptions recur, which rules are unclear, and which cases should never enter the system. Improvement comes from the queue, not prompt folklore. A serious workflow needs 4 measurements: cycle time, approval rate, correction rate, and escaped errors. Fast output with heavy correction is not leverage. High approval with rare but costly escapes may still be unacceptable. Read them together. Agree on risk before discussing speed. Ask what can be reversed, what requires approval, and what must never happen automatically. The answer determines the gate. A social post, price change, and payment instruction need different controls. Price around the bottleneck relieved and control added, not token usage. Charge for a managed weekly queue, a defined volume of reviewed jobs, or setup plus monitoring. Keep the promise measurable and never guarantee revenue. This approach is not right for every task. Avoid high-stakes decisions you are unqualified to supervise, work with little repeat volume, and processes nobody explains consistently. AI cannot stabilize a workflow whose owners disagree about good work. The queue works best when inputs repeat, delay has a cost, outputs can be checked, and a knowledgeable reviewer exists. That is less glamorous than a digital employee, but easier to test, safer to improve, and more credible. So build the gate before the agent. Automate preparation, expose uncertainty, preserve evidence, and keep judgment visible. The best AI system is not the one removing every human. It makes each remaining human decision count.